of what was going on in the Caldy Islands. We had Andrew JAOC.
It was very emotionally draining for me. You know, I didn't think I would be that affected by it, to be honest, because you tend to try and distance yourself from the story to reporting it objectively. But I found myself getting drawn into it and feeling for the survivors. And I think it was one of the most powerful, videos we've done since we launched the Richie and Rob show, previously Saints and Sinners. And I think being close to home for me in Wales as well, and hearing some of the stories and some of the investigative work that Andrew has done, just an ordinary citizen, and there's a lot more to come. That's what we're really excited about, because we want to go further with this, because we want to show those survivors our support on the Richie Road Show.
Absolutely. And I think it's just so important for people to know that they have a safe space. And we know that Andrew is just a really important part of that. He offers so much. Not just is he an investigator, he is actually somebody with a heart for people. And we absolutely love him, and he is soon to be part of our team, and we are so excited to have him on. Come on!
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
How are you? Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, no, listen, thank you for inviting me back on your show. I'm very, very honoured and grateful that you put me back on. So thank you very much.
It's just such a pleasure. What an amazing guy you are. You know, we stand in awe for everything that you do. I just watch everything, and I'm there just like, this man is amazing. You know, you are doing so much to help people. You know, you're not doing it out of vengeance. You're not trying to find everything just to, you know, kind of go after people. You're doing it for justice, and justice is so important for each and every one of us that has suffered at the hands of somebody else. So thank you for being here. Obviously, the last time the last time we were talking about Caldy Island, and we kind of want to go back to that, because we want to know, for the people that were watching, how did they feel? Because some of the survivors were watching, and I just want to know, from your point of view and from their point of view, how did they feel sort of watching it sort of be aired?
Right. So after the last show, I was, and good to see everybody on the show as well. So again, thank you for letting me come on, and for your listeners and watchers to also understand what really goes on in our world. So after the show, I spoke to a number of the survivors, and let me tell you, the feedback I got was breathtaking from the survivors' perspective, because they felt that you handled the show really well, empathized, and you understood the issues that they currently have. And I think we managed to get the message out, what was really going on with Caldy Island. But let me tell you, it's got even deeper since we were last chatting. And I think it's a really difficult situation. I spoke to one of the survivors tonight, and this particular person has been, how can I say it, has been pulled from pillar to post, and they continue with the trauma and have some delight in it, I'm really sure. So part of my job really is to now help them bring it to conclusion by getting them not only the apologies that they deserve, but a financial compensation to allow them to go and start their new life somewhere else, because at the moment they relive the trauma every day. And it's called complex PTSD. So people don't know what that means. It means that they're suffering the trauma over a long period of time. And the Catholic Church are continuing with it. So I can give you lots of more details on that, but I'm going to try something first of all, because it's about psychology. Now, remember last time we talked about the colour orange, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to show you 4 cards here. Right now, I'm not a card trick person.
For all our viewers, watch this as well. If you're watching this right now, just follow this with Andrew.
Okay. So this is ace, 2, 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to think of one of those cards. Anyone, Richie, we'll get to you. Richie can think of any of those numbers and just keep it in your mind. Just think about it. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to I put them in my pocket, and it's a pack of cards. So as you can see here, they're just normal pack of cards. It's about psychology. So I'm going to take now those cards, and I'm going to put them in the deck. Okay. So we're going to put them in the deck. Let's say if you can see the cards deck here. Yep. So I'll just try and do it in a way that's, maybe I hadn't prepared for this properly, but one I'm going to put in the middle here. And then I put another one towards the bottom, and then one here. So that's it, right? So 3 of them away, and I've still got the 1 card in my pocket, which I'll put on the top. Okay? So I want you to tell me, as you hold the thought a minute, what number did you come up with? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
1.
Now, the other three were put in the deck, but you picked number one. Now, the reason that I knew you were going to pick number one, it's to do with the psychology of how your thought process. You're very structured. And when you have an idea of how somebody believes in what they're trying to do, just to show you, there's no more aces in that pack than an ace of clubs. So just to kind of show you a bit of a random trick. Now, Rogue, I'm going to give you one to think of. Think of a number between 10 and 50. It has to be an odd number, but not the same odd number. So, for example, it can't be 33. So two happily odd numbers.
I know it. I've got it.
Okay. You remember the number. Okay, I'm going to write it down. So you've got a number. And Richard will have a number as well in his head. And this will tell me a little bit about you. Okay, so I'm just going to... The reason I'm showing you these things is because it's all about psychology. So think of your number. You've got it there, yeah?
Yeah.
And Richie's got a number as well. So just I'm going to make it as a backup one. Right, Rogue, what did you think the number was?
Am I allowed to tell you now?
Yeah, tell me now.
Okay, 21.
21, but that's not an odd number. 2 is not an odd number, is it?
Oh.
2 odd numbers. I'm happy the same. It's all right. So we've qualified that part. Right.
You check with me.
I'm dyscalcular, so it's like dyslexic in maths. So I even checked with him and said, is that? And then he was like,
what number did you think, Richie?
33.
But you can't have the two the same.
What do you mean?
Okay.
He said you can't have 3 and 3.
Oh, we're useless at this game.
There's number 37. 37. Now, if people are watching this and they've picked the number 37, if they did it properly, what that demonstrates is they are easily influenced by numbers. And numbers within our society are used to calculate everything. So when we're doing investigations, we look at several things. One is about body language and color, numbers. Yeah, 37. Thank you, Silver Surfer. That number is one that tends, if you do it properly, will tend to come out because it's structured. And the way the society works is that they structure certain things in our society. So we become part of this compartment. And sometimes to think outside the prison block, it needs kind of a psychological change. So coming back to Caldy Island, and why I want to mention it in Caldy Island, there, James, thank you, James, pick the 37 as well.
Listen, I failed. I am so sorry.
We're terrible at card games.
That's right, 21, you want to be 21 again. It's fine. But the whole idea by the way that we operate, so when we do investigations, they're always very structured, and we look for certain things, and we look for patterns. So that number 37 example would be part of a pattern that we would look for. So it's like an algorithm. We put it into our brains, and we kind of work it out and structured. So as we developed the whole situation with Caldy Island, we've managed to find the spider's web has gone very, very deep, and that's why I need you guys to come and give us a hand, and we'll visit the island. So what we found out, since we last spoke, is that we have a number of monks, fathers, I'm going to call them now, that are actually in the society in the Tembe area and have been on the island, have been involved in unexplained deaths. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm not making an exact accusation, but what I'm saying is unexplained deaths are unusual, right? So you have a Father Mansell Usher, who actually was a counsellor to a lady who was having some trauma. The trauma was about her daughter being abused as a child. Now, he was counselling her. Then they fell into a relationship. Now, how do you fall into a relationship when you're counselling somebody with trauma? That should be allowed, of course. So as that developed, she was being traumatized, or she was being disgustingly traumatized about her daughter. Then this woman wanted to ask for answers, demanded answers from the church. Then she had an unfortunate accident. She fell down 2 steps, not a full flight of stairs, 2 steps, and she died. Now she died, she went into a coma, and unfortunately she died in hospital. It's quite a big case. If you look at the case of Swansea, for a lady who fell down the stairs at a hotel called the Mumbles, which is in the Mumbles area, I should say, it's called the Norton House Hotel. Now, the reason I'm highlighting this particular person, because we have a lot of evidence about what actually happened, and we're going to ask the coroner to reopen the inquiry because there was a lot of misinformation given at the time. It then transpires that the same man has done this to other people, and there's been other unexplained deaths to do with wills and from other things. So this whole pattern is not just about who's on the island, but it's about everybody that's been involved. And monks have died unexpectedly. Somebody said there, Father Benedict died unexpectedly in Manchester, and there's another father. So we're finding a pattern of unexplained deaths. One of those deaths is a guy called Keith Dunstan, who actually appeared on the beach on the Caldy Island 2011. Now, his death was unexplained, but he fell into the sea apparently in Swansea area, and he landed on the beach, yet he had no water in his lungs. Now, you try to explain that to somebody, that can't happen, all right?
No.
And at the time, this is the beauty of the whole thing. At the time, there was a father taking photographs on a private beach of a dead man. Now, we have the affidavit statement from the witness. So as we've gone forward, we've developed this into a way where we've been speaking to people that have originally signed NDAs, which, of course, we can't discuss in terms of actually saying they've given us information on certain aspects. But when you hide a criminal act and you sign an NDA and you know there's been a criminal act, then that nullifies what an NDA really is. Now, I'm not saying we're going to do that in terms at the moment of one or two people, but there are people who haven't signed NDAs and they've come forward and given us statements. And of course, we start to get a pattern. We have a blueprint of that called the Abbey. It has a dungeon, 2 rooms, which are locked continuously by one father, Father Daniels. Now, if you know anything about Cistercian monks, then everything should be open and free and you should be able to freedom. But they have locked rooms. Now, there was a well-known paedophile, a guy called Paul Ashton, who hid on the island for 8 years. Now, we've tracked him down. We found out where he lives.
Wow, incredible.
Now, the police haven't found him, but we found him. Paul Ashton used another game called Robert Judd, and he ran a company called the St. Martin's, called the Cleaning Company, I think it was from off my head. And that limited company was just a front for selling something, not for providing service for cleaning. It's based in Poole in Dorset. Now, there are 8 people in that company, or 7 people in that company. And this is where it becomes interesting. You have the Caldy Abbey, then you have the relationship with Poole in Dorset, and there start to be links between a large paedophile gang bringing children to that island, and the monks didn't know that he was a paedophile on the run for 8 years, but they organised a doctor to come to the island to help out. And that sort of thing is really becoming a bit of an issue. So we developed a spider web, and I think it would be great to have both of you involved in bringing this to a head, because we are, and somebody just said about black magic, there is a spiritualist, a very famous one who I was speaking to, and he was talking to me about the exorcisms that were done on the island with the nuns.
Oh,
so now they have the dark arts. So when you're talking about, and this is, people have to understand, this is really going on. It's not just something that I'm making up. We have documentary evidence, witness testimonies. We've had people come forward, and then we find there's a bigger paedophile ring based in Poole in Dorset. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's an island just off of Dorset, off of Poole in Dorset, and it looks onto this particular area where the paedophile gang operated. He's been taken to the island now, called the island, as the island manager. He's worked for a forestry company. He had no experience in running an island with a state, etc., etc., etc. So he is the grandson of a monk. How do monks have children? You know, so you've got all these things. And today, this evening, I have a statement from a former resident of that island. He's 71 years of age, who is giving me a full statement on the abuse that the monks were doing on the island. And here's a former resident, and his family were very well entrenched in the island. And he's 71 years of age. So for me, the whole thing is going really deep. And it's worse than I thought it was. And yesterday and today, 2 of the survivors have had a bit of a wobble. They're not coping very well with it. And the trauma that the church is continuing to do is adding to their life, and they just want to end their lives. And I'm not going to let them do that. I spoke to one of them, and she is a wonderful, wonderful lady. And really, in fact, they're all wonderful, but I spoke to one this evening. And the reason I'm not going to let it go is because this has been going on since 1930. I know I can't do anything about the last 30 years. I actually spoke to a very famous company which was doing, this is where it gets deep, a famous company do dancing on the island. And she's the lady is an OBE. She's really nice, Alexandra. And she was talking very much about they've gone to dance on the island, and they've actually danced for the Pope. They've done all this. Nothing went on with this. And she thinks the island was a tranquil place. Now she knows differently. And she's shocked. I've given her the evidence to her. And they're not going back to that island anymore, which is great news to give dancing to the monks. Then you have another really, really testing situation. I have to be a little bit careful here because there's some things I haven't quite qualified yet. But there is a lady who is central to all of this. She claims that she's friends with Cherie Blair. She claims that she's best friends with the First Minister of Wales. She's had a number of positions which are, I can't find anything in her profiles that could have given her those positions as chairman, a chairperson, or director of certain organisations. And she has exerted a lot of influence over the Catholic Church. And if what I think is true and I can capturate it, then I will bring that to the fore. And that's a political thing as well. There's another lady in that island who is a safeguarding officer who's refusing to give SARs, subject access requests, to survivors. You can't just refuse it. So I'm engaging with that now. And so without boring everybody on every single detail, the whole thing is really deep. Yeah, the island's Brownsea, Helen, yes. And it was a person from Brownsea, which overlooks a paedophile ring in Poole. It's the links are just so big. And for me, I've been blackballed by the church. I've been blackballed by the monks. They won't talk to me. And the interesting thing is I've just made 2 complaints to the Charities Commission because they've broken lots of rules. I found out about some property they own in the UK and they've never declared it. Wow. And that's where some of the abuse goes on. Yeah.
I was going to say, Andrew, on that, for our viewers to know, we're so thankful to have you as an investigative journalist on Richard Rogue Show, and you're going to be part of what we're doing in the future as well, because we want to get to the bottom of a lot of things. We don't just want to be an echo chamber here. We want to get justice for survivors. We want to be able to help those, support them, put up crowdfunding pages for them, whatever it takes, so we can help these people find justice. So this isn't us just about shouting about what's right and what's wrong. It's just putting our money where our mouth is. I just want to ask you on this. I mean, I haven't mentioned it to Rogue in depth, but this might be something that we could put together as a documentary, because mainstream media are not going to cover it. So if we could put this together as a documentary with the testimonies, with the evidence that you have found, Andrew, with your incredible team, we could really, really do a massive expose of all of this, and it could be done under a professional documentary. That we can do it. Because there are people out there that would support that because they believe in getting justice for survivors. Absolutely. So I think that's something we're keen on doing. We're definitely going to come to the island and we'll do some stuff over there, Andrew. Definitely. That would
be phenomenal because we have so much evidence now. What we need to do is we need to showcase that evidence to the world. And it's we can prove everything, not only witness testimonies, but actually legal documents. We can show correspondence. We can show death threats, written death threats. We can show all of that in a documentary, and it would be harrowing, but it would also be cleansing, because then we can start to go after the Catholic Church and the way they're doing it, and how it's linked to politics. Yeah, because they're protected.
Perhaps just put, I can get you a list of priests convicted of abuse that the church knew about and covered it. And what they actually said earlier was that when one priest or monk is being reported for abuse, they just ship them off somewhere else so they can then repeat that abuse. Correct. That is not like, sorting out.
Do you know what I find interesting, right? There's a lot of emphasis right now, and there should be, with Rupert Lowe and the rape gangs and everything else. There's an inquiry going on that he's obviously put together with his team, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job. And I kept saying this to people, it's important, we have publications of what's happened, but we need prosecutions, not just publications. And I think, this kind of story that we've covered with Andrew on Caldy Island, it would have been dead and buried, right? Had we not put a spotlight on it. The rape gang inquiries had massive amount of spotlight on it, right? Because politicians see it, and this is not Rupert Lowe because he's doing it for genuine reasons, okay? Because some of the people involved in his team are survivors. Yeah. But I think some politicians have used the rape gang inquiry as a political football, if you like. I'm going to say it. Farage has done it. I mean, he said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he's reneged on it. He's not doing, and he's not even turned up to any debate on it when they've been in Parliament. So politicians will say things to get votes. We're not politicians. We got the freedom to say what we want, exactly, and to investigate what we want and expose what we choose to, because these people, and I'm just thinking, as you were talking about these two people in particular, I want to send our thoughts and prayers out to them tonight, and our viewers will do the same as well, because I can't imagine what it feels like, because I've never been through that, but I feel the emotion of it. And I just want to say that we're thinking and praying for those two precious people, whoever they may be.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing a lot of the comments here saying historical convictions are difficult, unfortunately. Yeah, as long as somebody puts something in my way, I'm going to climb over that, right? And they are historical, and I know that they're difficult, but the amount of evidence we can prove collusion between the Catholic Church, the authorities, and to have everything covered up, and then we need to get it into light. And the convictions may or may not happen with some of the monks who are still there or whatever, because one is just buggered off. Sorry, I shouldn't use that word. He's just gone off, I would say, back to Belgium. They've got rid of him. Something went to the CPS, and they've turned around saying, despite having a witness, despite having photographs, despite having testimonies, despite having everything documented, he's 76. It's too much trouble. That's because the Catholic Church shipped him off before Father Titus, who's been influential in a lot of the bad things that have gone on. They got rid of him back to Belgium. And the thing for me is, if they had had a DBS check, an enhanced DBS check, I'll guarantee you, because we checked with Interpol, these people have records.